Right. Thank you very much for joining me again today. And today I've got an interesting guest, Lovemore Fuyane. And Lovemore Fuyane is a son of Bulawayo. All of us grew up in Bulawayo. You went to...
I went to Hamilton High School.
Hamilton High?
Yeah. Prior to that, Hillside Junior School.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there I went to university in Harare.
Okay.
By then it was the only university in the country.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of issues in Bulawayo. And today we want to dissect these issues.
Yes.
I'm here to hear a good explanation of what is going on in Bulawayo. Many people don't understand. They just think there's tribalism.
Yes.
Is that correct?
I think there is institutional tribalism, certainly. I think I've done a previous interview with you where I've actually highlighted this.
Okay.
So the whole region of Matabeleland is actually affected by this kind of institutional tribalism that exists within the system.
Okay.
And just clear examples of it. Let's take, for instance, you know the Bulawayo Nkai Road.
Yes.
It's 155 kilometers. They started building it just after independence, or at least surfacing it. I think up to now they've only done maybe about 40 kilometers of that road. You then have other issues like your alma mater, NUST University.
Yes.
If you look at the intake of that university, you look at just the surnames we're able to tell you the ethnic groups of the people. But I think a very large percentage of it, I don't know whether it's 80 or 90%, you can clearly see that it's not people of, let's say, surnames that are really traditionally from Matabeleland.
Okay.
And the reason for that is not NUST's fault. I've actually written about this in the past. The reason for it is because the feeder system into NUST does not accommodate for the local or indigenous populations to be able to make it there. Give you an example. There's a district called Eskodini.
Okay.
Now, Eskodini has got 2 high schools that offer science subjects.
Okay.
In the whole district. One is Mthwakazi College, Mthwakazi High School. The other one is Falcon College.
Okay, Mthwakazi was my former school.
Yeah, right. So you should know that area very well.
Yes.
Right? I'm not sure that Mthwakazi offers sciences yet. It says born for Mthwakazi. Right? Okay. So out of that whole district, you have 2 schools that offer science subjects, but only to boys.
Yes.
Right? Actually, we can discount Falcon because Falcon is for the upper middle class and the aristocrats, people that really have money. So there's only Mthwakazi left, which means in the whole district, it is unlikely for you to ever get a girl coming out of that district, educated and resident in that district, up to the age where they can get to university and qualifying to do any science subjects in the province.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get you totally.
Yeah.
Now I want to go straight to the point.
Yes.
There's a group called MRP.
Yes.
There's a group called BUPRA.
Yes.
And the other groups. They have said last week that the solution is for all Shonas to leave Bulawayo. Is that the solution?
No, it is not. Let me try and summarize it this way. You have to make a distinction between something called Mthwakazi and something called Matabeleland.
Okay.
Okay. So Matabeleland is a specific geographic location.
Yes.
48,000 square kilometers of it. At one stage, it fell under the kingship of the Matabele kingdom. 2 kings then, and now there is another king that's been installed. But at the time, up to, let me say, the time of Lovemore.
Yes.
Okay, before we get to modern times. Lovemore ran or administered executively over a geographic piece of land called Matabeleland.
Yes.
Okay, so that is a geographic piece of land. Then he used to refer to his subjects as Mthwakazi.
Okay.
So transpose that to today. What you then have is Mthwakazi are not just in Matabeleland. They are all over the place. Some are in the US, some are in South Africa, some in the UK. They're all over the place. And because these are people that still subscribe to the concept of a monarchy or ubukosi, as ceremonially as it has been revived now, those people are all Mthwakazi.
Okay.
What it also means is that within Matabeleland, there are other people that may not subscribe to this. Those people are therefore not necessarily Mthwakazi. You are Mthwakazi by choice, right?
Yes.
Because you subscribe to the institution of the monarchy. So the best analogy that I can give to this is, let's take the Jewish people. Wherever a Jew is, he's called a Jew.
Yes.
But Israel is not called Jewland. Israel is called Israel.
Okay.
It's a geographic piece of land, and it's called Israel. However, it's been carved out and acquired since 1948, when it was formed as a state. Okay. So what happens is, Jews, like I said to you, are everywhere. Similarly, Mthwakazi are everywhere, right? But a lot of them are highly concentrated, for the most part, when I talk of the Jews, in Israel, right? Mthwakazi, the largest concentration of them is obviously clearly in Matabeleland and other parts where large migrations have taken place. Okay, so the political parties, as far as I understand them, their basis is really to challenge for the formation of a separate state based on the boundaries of the original kingdom of Matabeleland.
Okay.
So for me, when the reference is made to them as being Mthwakazi this, Mthwakazi that, I think it's a bit of a misnomer, because Mthwakazi is no longer a geographic piece of land, right?
Okay.
Okay. They may well in part be fighting for the rights of Mthwakazi, but remember, Matabeleland has got 13 ethnic groups. And out of those 13 ethnic groups, not all of them subscribe to the notion of Ubutwakazi. But however, they are all Matabeles.
Okay. So, I think we're avoiding the question.
Okay. No, I had to give that background.
Yes. I'm hearing the question about Mthwakazi. The problem is, there is a clear complaint from the guys I've been talking to this week. The complaint is that there is a deliberate Shona strategy to come into Bulawayo, disrespect the locals, take all the opportunities, override the locals, and extinguish the Ndebele tribe. And this, they point to two documents: the Grand Plan, XXX. Those two documents. Is that a real complaint?
Okay, so first of all, we don't know the authorship of the Grand Plan, but it has never been denied.
Okay.
Neither by the people that claim that it exists, or those that are accused of having authored it. I think Simba Makonyo and Nathan Shamaria were some of the people that were highly involved. I've yet seen a denial from them.
Yes.
So as far as I'm concerned, I think the Grand Plan is genuine. I think it was written.
Yes.
It's for real. Whether or not what they wrote in there represents the aspirations of the Shona people in general is another thing altogether, which I don't know. But certainly when you link the institutional tribalism that I mentioned earlier on, which exists within Zimbabwe, particularly against the province of Matabeleland, and what that document says, you begin to see there's a pattern that emerges.
Okay.
So it almost seems like this thing is actually in sync. And if anybody wants to build a conspiracy theory, it all starts to fit together, starts to make sense.
Okay.
Even if these incidents that, particularly the stuff that has happened lately, is all anecdotal, it's not empirical, as well as some of the examples that I gave you earlier on of the institutional tribalism that exists. You look at the Grand Plan, you begin to see some sort of links and patterns. Whether or not there are people still driving it, like these secret societies. Yeah. Whether or not there are people that are actually still driving the Grand Plan, as it were, or XXX, as it were, is very difficult to tell. But what I can tell you is that the grounds are ripe for that kind of belief to fester.
Yes.
Because there's subterranean anger within the whole province of Matabeleland, as well as Mthwakazi at large. Yeah.
Okay. So if I take 10 Ndebele people, 9 of them will believe that the Grand Plan, XXX, are genuine.
Right. When you say Ndebele again, you've got to say people from Matabeleland.
No, I'm talking about someone who speaks Ndebele at home.
Okay.
Because the guys I've talked to, this week I talked to more than 20 guys. who called me on my phone.
Yes.
And their language is exactly the same.
Yes.
I received so many copies of the Grand Plan of XXX.
Yes.
So we need to start at the bottom of everything. There is a belief in Matabeleland that there is a deliberate lack of development. For example, the road that you're talking about.
Yes.
Is given as an example in many forums.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the post-2000 economic collapse. This is a project that's been ongoing since independence.
Correct.
And the example of the
NAST,
the feeder system.
Correct. That is given.
It has nothing to do with the economic collapse.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Sweeping at Beitbridge.
Yes.
Is given as an example. If you go now, all the people who are sweeping at Beitbridge are from Mondoro. There is no one who is local.
That's correct.
Who works at Beitbridge.
That's correct.
Police.
Yes.
Teachers.
Yes.
This is the stuff that is commonly believed by everybody.
And is evident, actually. Unfortunately, sadly.
Yes,
so.
I agree with you
that
if you go to, let's say, Lupane or Escotini, you're going to find a lot of Shona people working in government.
Yes.
So let's take this from that angle. Many people believe there is a deliberate plan. And I think we need to address that. To say, is XXX and Grand Plan, are they real?
So let me put it to you this way. So those documents were written and have not been denied.
Okay.
Okay, by the people that have been accused of their authorship.
Yeah. Okay,
and then these things are happening. Whether or not those people are still behind them is a different matter altogether. You know, what did they say? Birds of a feather perambulate.
Yes.
Or they come together. So it's kind of like human nature, that when a certain ethnic group or a certain group of people that have something in common come together in an institution, they tend to attract those that are similar to them, right? Okay. So which may be a bit of an accident, but unfortunately, because you've got this background and then this reality on the ground, people see the links.
Right. So our solution should also involve almost affirmative action.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it, I suppose you could call it that, but it's not even affirmative action, in my view. I mean, let's go back to the example of the school. All we're asking for is equal opportunity, right?
Okay.
So we don't want to have many more schools in Matabeleland than in Mashonaland. We want to have a proportionate number of schools such that if we comprise 15 or 18% of the population, 18% of the opportunities we're able to access with equal ability.
Okay, so what would that mean? Would that mean Milton, Gifford, they have to teach in mathematics? What is it that we need to do?
No, those already do.
So
they already do.
All right. So what do we need to do to solve this problem? Because remember, each problem has a solution.
Yeah. So the schools that you mentioned just now is actually very interesting. Those were in the former what do we call it, low density suburbs?
Group A.
Yeah, Group A schools. Yeah. They were catering mainly for the white population. But if you look at the townships in Bulawayo, I think for the longest time, you know what school is called high school?
Correct.
In Popom. Right? There's a high school in Mkandani. There could be one or two others. St. Columbus.
Yes.
I don't think it's more than 5 or 6 schools that teach science subjects in that whole expanse of the so-called high-density suburbs. And a lot of Ndebele children come from there.
Okay.
They have to commute to actually go to the low-density suburbs in order to be able to access education. In fact, when I was at Hamilton, there was a seismic shift in the ethnic makeup of the school.
Okay.
In the sense that buses actually started busing children in to come from Chabalala and other places to come and attend at Hamilton. Why? Why would that be the case? Why would children have to spend an hour, 2 hours on a bus when there could be a school just down there from where they live? They go there, they have equal access and equal opportunity to everybody else. So those imbalances have not been addressed, unfortunately. Look, one has to also admit, and we've got to be objective about these things. Okay, the Zimbabwean economy has collapsed, and the whole country is suffering. We're all going through a lot of hardships.
Yeah.
There's no ZESA and all sorts of things. But I think the bottom line is we've had, almost 40 years of independence. And we are saying we can't just be looking at this period here where the economy has collapsed. We are saying all in all. And even now, for the few opportunities that exist, there's still institutional discrimination that takes place.
Okay. Who is this person who is pushing institutional discrimination? The people who are our MPs, top leadership, are they not coming from our local communities?
No, they say the fish rots from the head. So if you look at, let me give you an example of, the opposition is actually a very good example to give.
Yeah.
Because their character and everything has been shaped by what has happened in the last, let's call it 15 years.
Correct.
Right? So they're a lot more representative of the situation in the country politically than, let's say, ZANU-PF. I think ZANU-PF is a bit more geriatric.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, they dominate in the rural areas and all of that. But if I look at the conduct of MDC recently, so they held their Congress and people were elected to certain positions.
Okay.
Then there was an allocation of number of positions that the president was entitled to appoint people into. If you look at the appointments, all the appointments that he made, bar one, of Daniel Molokele from Wange, to me, all those people had Shona surnames.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe the Ndebelers with Shona surnames these days.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where I want to go. Remember, we want to create a solution.
Yes.
Mthwakazi says the solution is for all Shonas to leave.
Well, the guys that call themselves
MRP.
Mthwakazi, they call themselves Mthwakazi,
Yes.
of course. But remember, I told you earlier on that that is a misnomer.
Yes. So MRP,
Yes.
Bupra,
Yes.
they have said that they want to ask the government to dissolve council and put a commission that is going to be representative. But our solution should be long term, because this is a short term solution.
Yes.
And also, if they are saying all Shonas must leave, they are saying, in short, why are you employing a Shona to sweep? Why can't you, in your business, say, I employ 2 local people, one to operate the 2, the other to pack, and then I find that 2 of them must be of Ndebele origin?
Okay. Remember, you asked me the question earlier on as to whether or not we should have affirmative action.
Yes.
Okay. So, strictly speaking, I'm not for what you would call affirmative action the way it was designed here in South Africa in the early 90s, soon after democracy. I'm all for equal opportunity. In other words, what am I saying? I'm all for local representativity. If you look at the local demographics, that is exactly what you should see replicated both in the educational system, the business sector, people being allocated stands, business opportunities, and all of those things.
Okay, let's go one by one.
Yeah.
I went to Intuta Primary. Then I went to Mzingwane High. Then I went to NAST.
Yes.
Am I a local guy?
As far as I'm concerned, you are.
But MRP says I'm not a local guy.
Well, this is why I said to you earlier on, the term Mthwakazi and its utilization in that context is problematic.
Okay.
So when I started off with our interview and I prefaced it with that background, it sounded like I wasn't answering the question. But now I think the plane has landed.
Correct.
You now
I get it.
You get it now.
Yeah. It's not Mthwakazi that is saying that. It's a small group of people.
Using the name Mthwakazi.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Then let's go to business.
Yes.
I started my business when I was at NAST.
Yes.
This media company I'm running.
Yes.
I grew it. Then I went to Harare and grew it bigger. Came back to Bulawayo and bought property.
Yes.
So I'm a property owner in Bulawayo.
Yes.
If I was to go back to Bulawayo now, I would probably employ a lot of local guys.
Yes.
Right. So that is in terms of business.
Yes.
But I was talking to some local guys, some Ndebele guys, and they say we don't have money to even buy a property because in Bulawayo there are no opportunities for us.
Okay. So if the problem is money, perhaps I should blame people like myself. Because I mean, I work in the financial sector and I work internationally on the continent, and we're able to see a lot of opportunities where people can access capital. Maybe people like myself actually do have a duty to make sure that we publicize these things and are able to point people in the right direction.
Okay, but how many Ndebele guys have got a business in Bulawayo?
That I wouldn't know.
Because Mthwakazi, MRP specifically said to me, almost 90% of the businesses in Bulawayo are owned by people from Harare.
Okay.
So they don't have access to the actual businesses, which means employment, they don't get it. Then if you go to Mthwakazi, they gave me that example. 90% of the people there are Shonas. If you go to schools, if you go to NAST, if you go to council, they say there's 16 councillors out of 30. If you look at, I think they mentioned this example of Wange Colliery. If you go into Wange Colliery, almost 90% of the people there are Shona people.
Well, it's under administratorship right now, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is the complaint.
Yeah, I know Wange very well.
Yes.
So for the longest time, I mean, I worked there in my early years.
Yes.
I used to be an engineer. And I think if I remember on the executive, this was in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s when I worked there. On the executive, there was one Ndebele guy.
Okay.
And there was maybe... But actually, for me, the fact that there was one Ndebele guy in Wanki was not even the biggest issue. I would have wanted to see more Nambia people, more Tonga people. In other words, local representativity.
But how do we achieve that?
That's
because
a big issue for me.
When you employ, let's say I give you the banks.
Yeah.
Barclays Bank, Standard Bank, NMB Bank, TN Bank. They are all head offices in Harare.
No, let's go back to the example of Wanki.
Yeah.
You know, I got into Wanki because I had a scholarship with them.
Okay.
But the way the scholarships were awarded, there was no preference given to children from the surrounding communities.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem starts. It starts at that very basic level. In fact, there were some children from Wanki who were in university with me studying engineering, and they had good enough grades, but the college did not give them scholarships. So this has been going on for quite a long time.
Because it was advertised in the Herald.
The Herald and other newspapers. But I think they could have done a splash locally, within the local community. And so it is for businesses in Victoria Falls. But I think what is more important, you know, sometimes the markets work the way they work. And human beings, like I say to you, they perambulate the way they perambulate. But it is the duty of the government to exercise wisdom and to say within our institutions like Mthwakazi, which you mentioned earlier on, right, places that we control, the district administrators, how we appoint them, etc., we ought to give preference to local representativity first.
Okay, so we say Ndebele guys stand here, Shona guys stand here. Shona guys, we want 2. Ndebele, we want 4. Because that is how it should work, if we're honest. Because remember, Ndebele guys are not going to go to Harare to look for job. Who is going to be able to do that process?
To do that process, it has to be deliberate. I don't know whether it's about lining people up, but I think if we take the example of South Africa, they say certain types of discrimination are justifiable.
Okay.
And they don't violate human rights, especially, yes, if they are there to address the imbalances of the past. So let's not be shy about it. Let's not be apologetic about it. The government is the one that actually should be pushing for these things. But not only the government, the opposition, for me, I find them most disappointing because they represent this generation. But they are not, for some reason, it's not getting to them. They don't get it.
Okay, I like the way the conversation is going.
Yes.
Because it's logical.
Yes.
What I don't like is when guys start throwing insults. How do we solve the fact that our educated guys from Matabeleland are not taking leadership in this discussion?
Yeah, I think that is an indictment on us as young people from Matabeleland. The fact that we're not seen to be as visible as we should be. But let me just respond quickly to the issue of throwing insults and hate speech and all of that. Those things are indefensible. They are what they are. Yes, there is a context, the subterranean anger that I spoke about earlier on. But hate speech at the end of the day is not justifiable. So some of the things that are said by some of these representative political parties, which you mentioned earlier on, in the name of Mthwakazi. Mthwakazi, a great name, by the way.
Yes.
Which I'm proud of.
It's great, yeah.
Right? Some of those things are just deplorable. They have no place in modern society. They would probably tell you that it's because they're angry, etc., etc., etc.
And they'll send me some pictures of guns.
Oh, these toy guns.
Real guns.
AK-47s. They have access to guns. For real?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Look. I don't know. When people decide that they're angry enough, maybe for them they've reached a point where they're saying to themselves, "Look, a fight for freedom is justifiable."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
you
don't
see
know.
the words you just used now.
Yeah.
they see themselves as freedom fighters. They are saying, you are taking everything from us.
But but again, I'm worried about the use of the name Mthwakazi.
Okay.
They should rather use the name Matabeleland.
But this is where we go back to leadership.
Yeah.
Our chief was quiet last week.
Yes.
I was expecting.
Which one is your chief?
My favorite chief is Chief Ndiweni. I was expecting him to come out.
You're from Ndabazinduna?
I'm not from there, but
Is your favorite chief?
I'm planning to build a house there.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm organizing something.
Okay.
All I was saying is, I was expecting Chief Ndiweni.
Yes.
He's a very well articulated guy.
Yes.
To come out and say, guys, when you're making your protest, don't call out other tribes. But I'm not quiet about this issue. Because what is happening now is MRP is speaking, then there's no one who is logically arranging that argument for them.
Yeah, there needs to be a certain, they need to develop the depth of their ideological base.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take the example of the EFF. You know, if you had spoken to the EFF soon after they were formed, was it 10 years ago?
Yes.
They were rebel rousers. But today, if you look at the South African political scene, there is no one that can go toe-to-toe to them as far as depth of ideological base is concerned. So, to some extent, I understand. When you look at the likes of these MRPs and MLFs and BUPRA and whatnot, these are fairly new organizations, and they're still developing. And the only way they know is maybe just to behave the way they do, but it isn't correct. You can be radical, but have depth of ideology.
But I've got a friend of mine,
Yes,
who is a doctor. He loves MRP.
okay.
He was very disappointed that I criticized him. The thing is, I think, okay, this is my opinion. I think the educated Ndebele guy is ashamed to be seen speaking up in defense of his Ndebele heritage. He feels like people will say I'm a tribalist.
No. I'm a proud Ndebele man.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a proud Mthwakazian, right? I belong to what I would call the cultural or virtual nation state of Mthwakazi. That's what I belong to.
Okay,
right?
but when have you ever heard Wolfman Ncube speaking in defense of Ndebele heritage?
I honestly do not know.
Not only him, SK Moyo, Mpofu, all these guys. Have you ever heard any of them saying, let's have a meeting and represent our local people?
Okay, so you've actually raised another very interesting point.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, the Unity Accord in 1987 was both a blessing and a curse. It was a blessing because it stopped the killing. We had a madman who was out there murdering people, and we had to find a way somehow. And the best people that had the greatest wisdom at that point in time, the likes of our founding fathers, Joshua Nkomo, just saw it fit that, look, we have to just sign a pact with the devil and move on as best we can.
Yeah.
But the downside is that all the people that have then been deployed into, let's say, those institutions or those governments which are run by those madmen, have, whether it's, I don't know, maybe it's not by choice, but they've let us down.
They've moved to Harare, right?
Yes. They've moved to Harare psychologically as well.
Yes.
So they've completely detached themselves from reality. They no longer represent the aspirations of the people of Matabeleland or even Mthwakazi for that matter. So to the extent that even in opposition we've replicated this. So all the deputies that have been deployed there, in my view, are actually not serving any purpose at all. They are not even our faces. You could say, okay, this is a front, this is a face. Kemba Mohadi for me is not even a face for my aspirations. He doesn't represent my aspirations. Okay. I'm not sure whether Welshman Ncube is really genuinely the vice president of the MDC alliance. And why am I saying that? Well, previously when the party was constituted, Thokozani Kupe was the vice president.
Yes.
We saw the transition and how it happened. So I don't know.
But these guys become Ndebele when they're chucked out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When they're now wanting to be removed, then they appeal to the Ndebele base for support.
Yes.
Is this not what the town clerk of Bulawayo is doing?
It could well be. It could well be that. People always hide behind tribalism, but again, as you said earlier on, the Kambarami group is a faction.
Yes.
And whenever there are factions, there are always two sides to a story.
Yes, we said there are 16 Shona councillors in Bulawayo.
Yes.
How many people are there who are Shona in Bulawayo?
In terms of population stats, I honestly couldn't tell you that.
Because remember, that is another issue that we need to find out.
Yeah.
You might well find out that Bulawayo now has more Shonas than Ndebeles.
Well, you know what I would say to that?
Yeah.
If you go into commerce, into the commercial space, in other words, the Bulawayo CBD, certainly you get a sense that Shona is becoming more and more dominant. In fact, I remember one time I went into an ATM hall to withdraw money. Yeah. There was a security guard sitting there. There was another guy that walked in behind me. And straight up, he asked the security guard, right?
And the guy answered.
The guy answered and said, no, Parukushanda Uyo. So it was a default language.
Same with if you go to the border, right?
Yes, yes.
If you go to the passport office, if you go to whatever.
I feel, when I stop at a roadblock, I feel somewhat uncomfortable to speak to the police person by default in Ndebele.
Because you don't know if he's in Ndebele.
Yeah, and also because you just get the sense that maybe this person will think I'm I don't know.
You're being stubborn.
I'm being stubborn. I'm being hard-headed. Yeah. Yet it's my human right. I'm perfectly entitled to speak that way. So that's what institutional tribalism has done to us as a society. So you asked the question earlier on about our educated and developed people. Yes, I think there certainly is a need for us to come together. And unashamedly, as people from Matabeleland, which would include both Mthwakazi and all the other ethnic groups, or the other people that do not necessarily subscribe to Mthwakazi, but have the interests of Matabeleland at heart. Okay, we somehow need to come together and have a basic template. So when we come to this gathering, we must take off our political hats. Okay. We must take off our religious hats. We must take off our cultural hats. I mustn't even come in there, shouting my Mthwakazi-ness and chanting my slogans. We must simply come together as people of Matabeleland and say, what is it that we really want? And there's a very interesting document which was released by the chiefs a few weeks ago. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, when I look at that document speaks to a lot of issues which I think would help us to find commonality.
Okay, what is the document called?
As a people of Matabeleland. I just can't remember its name, but I'll look for it and see if I can send it to you. But when I read through it, I said to myself, but actually this document, it's like the chiefs actually spoke to me. Yet at the time they wrote it, I was in East Africa. Okay. And I don't know how they managed to read my brain. It was almost telepathic. Okay. Word for word. But that kind of document needs to be taken and somehow summarized, and we come up with something similar to the Freedom Charter. Yeah, but I'm not calling for separation.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I just want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Because what I have a problem with is, I think, just develop people by themselves.
Yes.
They cannot do it. So we need a mix of Shona guys who are living in Bulawayo and Ndebele guys coming together and who agree on principle.
Well, not even that. Let's not, maybe, when we confine ourselves to the names Shona and Ndebele, do you know that we're leaving out a very large chunk of the population of Matabeleland?
I don't know the Kalanga population. I don't know how big it is.
Matabeleland is the melting pot of Zimbabwe. Okay. Matabeleland has got more ethnic groups than any other part of Zimbabwe. It has the highest concentration of different kinds of people. There are 13 ethnic groups within that province. It's very unique, actually.
Yes.
And maybe that's why this whole thing, it makes Matabeleland look unique, and the rest of the country cannot understand why Matabeleland is the way it is. But it's because Matabeleland, by nature, by character, for historical reasons, whatever, is actually quite different from the rest of the country. Okay. From that perspective. Right. So sorry to cut you off. Right? Okay. So you said Ndebele and Shona guys. No, it doesn't even have to be like that. It needs to be people from Matabeleland. And naturally, if the process of these people coming together is equitable, everybody will be represented.
Okay, but that's representation.
Yes.
I am talking about a platform.
Yes.
Because you see the problem in Bulawayo. When you buy petrol, you're buying it from Harare.
Absolutely.
It comes from South Africa, then it goes to Harare, then it comes to you. The profit goes back to Harare. A bank, I was staying in Harare, they employed me. I came in, became a manager in Bulawayo. And then when I make my money, I take it to my village and I develop. In Bulawayo, the problem is the opportunity bypasses you. Most of the guys in Bulawayo do not have private sector, or
they do not have information.
Yes.
But it's not just about information, pardon. Again, I'm sorry to cut you off. So my late father and I, we set up a small enterprise.
Okay.
Which would have been a decent business.
Yeah.
But it was a very green, as an environmentally friendly project.
Yes.
It absolutely promoted the ideals of us having what do you call it, a clean environment.
Yes.
So we wanted to set it up in Bulawayo.
Yeah.
And the best location we could find was a government-owned piece of land.
Okay.
So we approached the relevant ministry there.
Yeah.
And we said, this is the project we want to do on this piece of land. Can you give us some type of lease?
Yeah.
So that we can run this business. It was ideally located. Well, I can tell it's a beekeeping business.
Okay.
So the people that we were dealing with there, obviously, were Shona
guys. Yeah.
And they said, this is a brilliant project. Please write a proposal for us. Proposal was written. They took it. They read it. They said it sounds fantastic. The proposal was sent to Harare.
Okay.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know why it had to be sent to Harare.
Head office.
For someone to put bees in Bulawayo.
Yes.
Yes. It was sent to Harare.
Yeah.
By the time it came back from Harare, the proposal was when we set up this thing, 40% of the revenue, not the profit.
Yeah. The revenue.
The revenue is what our lease installments would be.
Okay.
Towards our stay on this piece of land.
Yeah.
40% of the revenue. That's what we were told. And then we then said to ourselves, okay, so who do we approach? The minister is Shona, the permanent secretary is Shona, they're all in Harare. Maybe Zimbabwe needs to set up some sort of a body that people can appeal to on issues like this, where people are denied opportunities, where we can actually go there. There's some sort of arbitration. I'm not talking of a court system, but there's some sort of conciliation and arbitration type, some just below the court system, so we don't flood the court system.
Okay.
I think that could be one of the outcomes of, let's call it a truth and reconciliation and reparations kind of process. We need to have a body like that. I think here in South Africa we've got the Human Rights Commission, but I think ours needs to have slightly more teeth.
But you see what?
Yeah.
Then it will be arbitrating affirmative action issues.
Absolutely, yes.
Because I think this is where this is going.
Not affirmative action, pardon.
Because I think the guys are lobbying for the wrong thing.
No, not affirmative action.
Yeah.
It will be arbitrating for a local representativity.
But I know where to find the Shona guy. I am not lying to you.
Yeah.
If I want a minister today,
yes,
I know where to go. There are guys in Bulawayo who've never been out of Bulawayo.
Yeah.
I know how to go to whatever building in Harare, Mthwakazi, whatever.
Yeah.
And I will find a Shona guy who's going to help me in Shona. Yeah. If you come from Bulawayo and they're speaking in Ndebele, no one is going to help you.
Well, that's why we wanted devolution. We felt that was one way of resolving the issue.
But is there no Minister of State for Matabeleland?
Yeah, but I don't think he's got any powers, because I mean, remember the provisions of the constitution around devolution were never implemented. There was no political will to do it, and so that still remains a problem.
But it's almost as if the Ndebele guys are powerless. I don't think they're powerless, because you know why I'm saying that. I think there is also an element of depending on government in Bulawayo.
Well, I don't know. You could be right.
Okay, I'm running a media house now.
Yes.
I have never taken a cent from the government.
Okay.
Why is there no media house for which speaks in Ndebele?
Well, there is Skies FM.
Skies FM, Babongile was in school with me. He owns that media house.
No, it's actually owned by Kubani Moyo.
Okay, you see.
Babongile was I think he was an employee there.
Yes. I would want to see a lot of young people.
Yes.
In Bulawayo running their own media houses.
Absolutely.
Promoting art, promoting tourism.
100%.
At the moment, I run my media house from South Africa on Zimbabwean issues. You can do 10 other things.
Yes.
If you come together, you can even run more stuff. You can run sports clubs.
Absolutely.
In Highlanders, how many Shona guys are there?
As in
the team?
Or in the team? Oh no, the team is probably more than, maybe close to 50% Shona now. But at some stage it was much higher. In fact, even in the dressing rooms, they were singing Shona songs. Is that a bad thing? Well, the geographic space I said was Matabeleland, or is Matabeleland, had some Shona people. But there were also a lot of indigenous tribes.
But what I'm trying to show you is that this issue is not a small issue.
It is not.
In 100 years' time, you end up with non-Ndebele nation.
I don't think so.
If this continues, if Highlanders becomes 100% Shona, Mthwakazi is 100% Shona, City Council is a bad bridge. So there has to be a strategy here. And this is why I'm saying the strategy is lacking. Yeah, when you come and shout insults, you know what you do? You put off the bad guys and the good guys.
You do.
So let us be strategic.
But remember, those people don't represent something called Mthwakazi. Please, let's get that right.
I'm going to bring them next week. I'm bringing them on this video.
They're abusing the name.
So the next week I'm meeting, there's one lady from Mthwakazi. She said she's going to come.
No, I think I understand why they use the name Mthwakazi.
Yeah.
It's because the name Mthwakazi or Mthwakazi, it's something that is beyond the control of the Zimbabwean state. It sounds more radical, it's more attractive, it's something that they can leverage on. Whereas something called Matabeleland is a province of Zimbabwe. It's something that is under the control of Zimbabwe. But really there's a structural fault there.
Okay, but then the real Mthwakazi is not articulating the issues. No,
we are not yet. But remember, I told you we've established the monarchy.
Okay.
Our king has been coronated, and Mthwakazi is going to be built around the institution of the monarchy. And watch this space. There's a lot of a lot of things that we're planning on the ground to reassert ourselves as a people, wherever we are as Mthwakazi.
Okay, so can I suggest that we have a weekly live, because now we're offline.
Yes.
Can we have a weekly live on a day of your choice?
Yes.
Where we talk maybe for 30 minutes, an hour about Mthwakazi issues.
Genuine Mthwakazi.
Genuine Mthwakazi, not this one which we're talking now.
Okay. I'm quite happy to do it.
Yeah.
But because, again, we're talking of Mthwakazi, I think I would need to go and consult.
Okay.
With the Royal Crown and find out if I would be the person that would want to do that, because they do have a spokesperson.
We can have a live with the spokesperson.
Yes.
The only thing that I am trying to do is that there must be a strategy. Yes. And at the moment, I think there's no strategy. I also have a big quarrel with my friends who are here in South Africa. I have hundreds of friends from Bulawayo who are Ndebele, who don't have even a chicken in Bulawayo. A chicken. I'm not talking about a goat.
Yeah.
They don't care about Bulawayo. They only get interested when there's a fight.
Okay, so let me answer you this way. So, stereotypes are very dangerous.
Okay.
For the longest time, there's always been a perception that Ndebele people are more docile, they're not as entrepreneurial as Shona people, etc. Can I tell you that for my house, right, my plumber is from Plummet.
Okay.
He's a Matabele person.
Yeah.
My electrician is a Matabele person. Right?
Yeah.
There's a small business which I had interactions with recently that make mobile toilets, mobile units.
Yeah.
It's owned by Ndebele people. They are top Ndebele executives running large corporations. Okay, some of them are right now having issues with their employers.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. But there's a number of others. I mean, the co-CEO of Sasol, for instance, is a Matabele. Why is it that when those people come to South Africa, they thrive so much? Yet in Zimbabwe, we don't see them. They're not visible. Again, it goes back to the issue of institutional segregation. The places where you go to apply for licenses, the places where you go to seek for permission to hold meetings, the places that you go to, in fact, even for things you don't even need to go to the government for, like we want to coronate a king. Suddenly the government comes and they tell us, no. You can't do this because we don't have a provision for it in the constitution. And then I say to myself, but the Salvation Army, they've got a head in the country. Is it in the constitution?
Okay.
Did the government actually come and tell the Salvation Army that the guy who heads up your church here in Zimbabwe cannot be called captain because it sounds like it's military. You must change him to prefect.
Okay.
Can they do that with the Roman Catholic Church? Can they do that with the Bachawa who do what is called Rigure?
No.
To tell them that is the top guy that heads that whole ceremony is Rigure. He cannot be called whatever he is called. That is ridiculous.
Okay, I totally get you.
Yeah.
But all these issues, they will never make you own the big portion of Bulawayo. You can have a chief or a king. So that's why I'm saying the focus, we need to divide the issues. The cultural heritage of the Ndebele,
yes.
I spoke about it.
Yes.
I honestly think that the Ndebele nation can be wiped out.
I think the cultural heritage of
Abetwagas.
Yes.
You could get wiped out.
Yes.
Because you will be lacking leadership.
Yes.
So another tribe can come.
Actually, no, sorry, I shouldn't have said yes.
Yeah.
No, we've got a very capable leader.
But it's not coming out because the people on the ground.
Remember, the king was coronated sometime in May last year.
Correct.
Yeah. So Rome was not built in a day.
Okay.
There's a lot of work that we're doing to put the building blocks together. I mean, one of the key things is that in terms of the optics, our king needs to be resident in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Specifically in Bulawayo. Inkosi yethu kumele ibe nesigolo Bulawayo.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that.
And I saw today that they want to take the state house. So the descendants of I think it's Lobengula, they've requested for that state house.
Well, I don't know why it's being requested. Well, I suppose maybe it's a matter of courtesy. But that state house actually was where Lobengula's
home was. Okay.
Yes.
So now we're talking strategy here.
Yes.
We're talking physical things you can see.
Yes.
At the moment,
yeah,
it's almost as if we've got a group here, a group there, and the group is demanding for space from another group, but you're not creating your own space.
Yeah. So I personally, maybe it's because I'm Mthwakazi.
Yes.
I'm hoping that Mthwakazi could somehow be a common platform that can bring us all together. But again, the challenge that I say to you is that not everybody ascribes to the notion of Mthwakazi and Ukhosi.
Okay.
But I certainly think we can do better than just Highlanders.
Okay.
Because at the moment, whether he supports MTCA or ZANU-PF or whatever, when we're at Baba Field Stadium, we are one.
You agree?
Yes. If something like football can do that for us, we need to find something else that can scale up. And as far as I can see right now, the only thing that I think could do that for us to the greatest extent is Ubutwagazi, Ukhosi. Yes, that is what I can see. I understand that not everybody subscribes to it, but I'm saying when I look at the elements, the different elements that are already in place that we can all rally around, for me, I see Ubutwagazi being it. All that needs to happen, I think, amongst us Abetwagazi, is we need to be magnanimous and inclusive of other ethnic groups or other people that don't subscribe to to the institution. We need to make sure that we don't start invoking ubungoni and other things like that, which may start to make other people feel like they're not part of this thing, which was never the intention anyway. Mthwakazi, as envisioned by Inkosi Mzilikazi, was supposed to be a nation state made up of many ethnic groups. None of them had their cultures destroyed or their language just decimated.
Okay. I think we haven't even covered 1/10 of this topic.
No, we haven't.
It's almost an hour.
Yeah.
So let's go to close.
Yes.
My own suggestion would be that Ndebele guys become proud of being Ndebele guys.
You mean Abetwagazi?
No, I'm talking about Ndebele guys. Abetwagazi includes people like me.
Oh, okay.
But I'm talking about Ndebele guys.
Oh, okay.
Because at the moment, I feel like it's almost as if Ndebele guys feel like if I unite myself with other Ndebele guys, I'm doing something wrong. I don't think that is
like how I feel when I'm at the roadblock.
Yes.
At the police roadblock. I'm like, why now? What do I do now?
So I would want to see Ndebele guys creating something.
Yeah.
So I was talking to a lot of Ndebele guys this week.
Yes.
And I'm specific to this, Ndebele guys, that we need to create a fund.
Yes.
Because without money, you're just talking. Yeah. Is it possible to gather all the guys who are here in South Africa? We've got almost 1 million guys here. And say each of us, every month, we want your 100 rand. Let's say we've got 1 million.
Okay. So I think you're right. Things like that need to happen.
Yes.
And without divulging too much,
yes,
I'm not the spokesman for the royal household,
okay,
or any of those things. But I think if you give us time,
yeah,
you may begin to see some of those things actually running afoot.
But why do we have to do it through the royal house? Why can't we do it like I get my 1 million guys and you get your 1 million guys?
I think for me it's a question of what is it that unites us, which can scale up the quickest. Highlanders is a football club, unfortunately,
but it's struggling. It's got no money.
It's got no money as well.
The guys here in Bulawayo, in South Africa, they failed to put 100 rand each.
Yes,
to support Highlanders.
I absolutely agree with you. So we need to find something that we can leverage on.
Yeah.
And say this is our common platform, whatever it's called, whatever it is, and we rally around that. If there's something else that is an alternative to Mthwakazi, which I keep repeating, being a part of and being a proud part of.
Yeah.
If there's something else, let's look at it as well. But certainly, I think the intelligentsia from Matabeleland need to have some kind of convention where we sit down together, we leave our egos at the door, we leave our various political party hats at the door, we leave I'm even prepared to leave behind my cultural heritage at the door. And walk in and say, we're not going to talk about Matabeleland. Right, what do we do here? What is our charter?
Okay, so Mina, what I suggest is this. The guys who are watching, WhatsApp me if you're interested in contributing. I'll take your name and I'll forward it to Lovemore. So the number is on the screen.
Yes.
If you're interested in contributing a small amount, like between 100 and 500 rands, which is like 10 pounds.
On a monthly basis,
On a monthly basis. To Ndebele Fund. I'm not saying Mthwakazi Fund. I'm talking about specifically Ndebele Fund. A culture fund.
Okay.
Which we can then use to start our businesses, to fund our activities. I'm not in it. I'm not a Ndebele guy, so I won't be in it. Lovemore will help you with that. But all I'm saying is, I've been saying this for a long time. There's so many people who are in Australia, New Zealand, UK, South Africa, who are Ndebele.
Okay, I'm glad to hear you saying that. And a lot of people are going to think I'm being apologetic or something.
Yeah.
There is something already afoot that we're doing.
But we can add these people
using the platform of Mthwakazi. Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Let people reach me by WhatsApp, and I'll give them details. There is something that we're already doing, but it's centered around Mthwakazi. There's an institution that we've set up, which is called Gadate 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Then from there are various other structures that we'll set up, which will be fully accountable.
Okay.
Fully legally set up in whatever jurisdiction we operate. But right now there is something that we've started. But just understand, Mthwakazi, that's the platform we're using. And as far as I understand, Mthwakazi is all inclusive and all embracing.
Okay.
Nobody should feel discriminated as long as they're originally from Matabeleland.
Okay, and then there's this guy who was saying, Lingakhomba Mashiwan. If you find a nice looking...
So that guy doesn't want me to exist. Because my mother is Shona.
Okay, that's why I'm saying, like, we need to deal with interface.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of... The Shona and Ndebele are one people.
It's a choice, yeah.
It's almost painful for me to talk about this issue. Because I feel like Bulawayo has got so much potential.
Yes, it does.
But we, the guys who are living in Bulawayo, we don't see that potential. It's quicker to get to Bulawayo from South Africa than to go to Harare. But something first goes to Harare, and then...
Yeah.
Even if a girl wants to get married, she has to find
The marriage certificate is registered in Harare.
And find the guy in Harare.
And
yeah. So we have many issues.
Yes.
And they're hurting a lot of people.
Yes, yeah.
But then it's easier to default to tribe.
Yeah.
Whereas our issues are, how do we develop our nation?
Yes.
As if Bulawayo is developed, I am developed.
Yes. Yes.
I don't have to stop in the way of a guy who wants to do his bees.
Yes.
Because he's in Bulawayo.
Yes.
Then I tell him that I'm going to charge you so much rent.
Yes.
But also, I feel that we still have to chew this issue of Ndebele guys not coming together, lacking unity.
That is very true. That's why I said to you, we need to find some element of commonality. And at the moment, I'm sorry to say, yes, I love Highlanders, I mean, with all my heart. But I think it's an indictment on us. We need to find something else, something that is bigger, more encompassing, as amagama esilungu angathi anhlupha man. Yeah, but we need things that will cut across and transcend the generations. The word I was looking for was transcend.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's summarize.
Yeah.
We need affirmative action to deal with the issue of people coming from outside the region getting jobs. The local guys don't have the connections. They don't have the contacts.
We need local representativity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Secondly, we need to sort out the pipeline.
Yes.
People, things like schools.
The feeder systems, yes.
But that also has to be done locally.
Yes.
The information has to come from local, going up.
Yes.
Then we have to deal with the issue of unity among the Ndebele people.
People of Matabeleland, yeah.
But I'm saying the Ndebele people. Because I want a Ndebele guy to feel Ndebele.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to say, I've got my own group and we are contributing to this group.
Correct, yeah.
But without insulting the Shona guy.
Yeah, correct.
So I think if someone comes in public and shouts swear words, it should be slapped immediately.
Yeah, again, it depends on what jurisdictions they are in. Here in South Africa, there are relevant laws to deal with it.
Yeah.
I think in Zimbabwe as well, there are laws to deal with that kind of speech. My advice to people that would have been insulted as such is really to take it up with the relevant authorities. Something that many of us, self-respecting Mthwakazi, do not subscribe to. Let me give you an example of how that manifests itself. You know that in English, often colloquially when people are speaking,
yeah,
I'm talking in very common social settings, they'll be using words like F this, F that.
Correct, correct.
You can't do that in SMP.
In public.
Even in private. Awuvela kuzwakali vela kungeni ukuthi hey what inhlamba hey what inhlamba you can't. We are self-respecting, we're an upright people. Yeah.
Okay, and I think some of the videos that are being shot,
yeah,
if you've got them on the phone, don't distribute.
No, don't distribute.
Because it makes us look bad.
It does, yeah. It does.
Right. So we've done all this. Then we end with a fund. Yes. We need a fund.
Yes.
Which, if you're watching this video, I've talked to guys from South Africa, UK, New Zealand, and I've also talked to guys from MRP.
Yes.
And Lovemore has offered to, when you send me WhatsApp, I'll send him his name. I'll send you his number.
Yes.
Please, let's work on a fund. I think without a fund, Matabeleland and Mthwakazi is just talking.
Pardon, you're going to get me into trouble. This fund is built around Mthwakazi, and I'm not sure what the plan was around publicizing it.
Okay.
My suspicion is that the Royal Council would have had some sort of protocol where the official spokesperson would have publicized it.
Okay.
But, okay, the cat's out of the bag. Yes, we've set up a fund, and it has the full blessing and support of Nkosi Bulawayo.
Okay, and myself, my favorite chief is Chief Ndiweni. When I go to Bulawayo, I'm going to come and go and visit him.
Yes, yes.
I want us to move from these low-level issues of why are you sweeping here. I don't want Ndebele guy to cry to be a sweeper.
No.
I want him to cry to own a business, to cry to be the director at NAST, to cry to be to build more schools.
Yes.
At the moment, we're crying
yes.
for crumbs.
Absolutely, we are. Yeah.
So that is the last thing. I don't know from your side if you had anything else.
No, pardon. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think we spoke at length about a lot of things. As you said, there just isn't enough time to be able to exhaust all of these things. And you and I don't have a monopoly on all wisdom.
Yes.
If there had been more people here, a much bigger forum like the one that we envisaged, the one we spoke about, more heads coming together, I think a lot more would actually come out of it. And really would create a much happier nation for us. Not just Matabeleland, but Zimbabwe as a whole.
Okay. So what, at exactly 1 hour.
Yeah.
And I think this has been fantastic. I'm going to start live broadcasts.
Yes.
Because I know you stay overseas.
Yes.
So I'm going to start live broadcasts with you.
Yes.
And we'll start inviting people to speak.
100%. I'm happy to do that.
At a strategic level.
Yes. Happy to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Lovemore Fuyane.
Thank you very much, pardon. My
Right.
brother. My brother from another mother. My brother from Mthwakazi.
Everybody, please like this video, forward it. These are the kind of videos we want to forward. We don't want to forward the guy with the noob carry or saying linga confirmation. We don't want those kind of things.
No, we don't.
And if you turn the machine, it's all good.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, right, cool. So thank you very much for watching. And as I said, I'll give Lovemore a week to go where he lives, and then we'll start doing a weekly live at night.
Yeah.
And I'll also be inviting many different people,
yeah,
so that we end up with a common goal. But my interest will be to see 1 million rands a month.
Yeah.
Then we start talking.
Yeah.
Because if we have 1 million a month, we won't be drinking water from a borehole.
No, we won't.
We'll be starting to supply Bulawayo City Council with pipes, with whatever,
Yeah.
and making the money locally.
That's it.
At the moment, we're waiting for a guy from Harare to supply us with the valves.
No, that's not acceptable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and share on this post. Like our Facebook page and subscribe to the Gambakwe Media YouTube channel.
Thank you.